and welcome. My name is Jocelyn. This is my channel, and today we are doing an anti-haul. I have a video coming up of my VIB haul, so I figured to kind of combat that massive haul that I'm about to do, I would film an anti-haul. I'm going to show you some products that I'm not going to buy because I consider myself a conscious consumer. I'm definitely not a minimalist by any means. If you've seen my Shop My Stash videos or my declutter videos or anything like that, any of my collection videos, you know that I've got quite a bit of makeup, but I'm working towards being more conscious about my makeup purchases and not bringing in a whole bunch of excess products. Another thing to keep in mind is that we are two different people. The reason I make the decisions I do about what I purchase is based on my collection, my preferences, my financial situation, and all of that differs from yours. So just because I don't want something, I don't like something, it's not my preference, maybe it'll help inspire you to think about these products a little bit more, but I am in no way telling you that you shouldn't get these products, because if there's something that you really like and think will add value to your collection, then by all means make a conscious decision, an educated decision to add those products to your collection. But with that being said, let's go ahead and just kind of start talking about some products that I will not be adding to my collection. I'm pulling, I think, all of these from Trend Mood. If you're not familiar with Trend Mood, it's an Instagram. I think it's run by one person and she just posts nonstop about new releases. I will have her Instagram linked down below so you can check it out. I didn't count how many products we're going to be talking about today, but we're going to be talking about a handful of products. So the first is actually the new Fenty beauty products. She came out with recently a Fairy Balm Pom Pom. It's like a shimmer palm that you basically beat on your skin and it produces some shimmer. And then she also came out with the Body Lava. It is a body luminizer in 2 different shades. The Pom Pom retails for $42 and the Body Luminizer retails for $59. So for one, that's extremely expensive in my personal opinion, and maybe to somebody it would be worth it, but I don't know when I would ever use this. I mean, if I would go to a festival maybe, but I don't go to festivals. I like the brand Fenty, but I just don't foresee myself ever using this. I did watch a couple reviews and saw it swatched and it just looked kind of sweaty. The Body Lava Luminizer is the one I'm referring to right now. It just looked like a sweaty oil and it didn't look cute in my personal opinion. It didn't give that shimmer that I would have liked to have seen from a product like that, but obviously that's probably not what the intention was. If I were to ever buy something along those lines that's some kind of body shimmer or glimmer or anything like that, I would want it to pack a little bit more of a punch, not leave me looking so oily and slick. I think those prices are pretty out there. Those are pretty hefty and I have no interest in buying these. The Pom Pom does look very reminiscent of decades ago. We don't see a lot of those around anymore and I'm not interested, and I don't think they would add any value to my collection and I would not get any use out of them. So I won't be picking them up. Speaking of highlighter type things, Cover FX is releasing or has already released, I'm not entirely sure, a highlighter palette. It is their Gold Bar highlighting palette. It includes 3 different shades, a rose gold, a white gold, and a 24 karat gold shade. I was kind of tempted by this, I will admit, but then when I really looked at this, I don't think that rose gold shade would look good on me as a highlighter. It definitely looks like it would be way too dark for me. The white gold shade I think I could get pretty good use out of, and the 24 karat gold maybe. But with that being said, I have gold highlighters already in my collection that I don't get a lot of use out of because I can only really use them in the summertime when I'm not quite so white. And the rose gold shade, again, I would hardly get any use out of at all. The white gold shade is the only shade that I would get use out of. And for $39, I just don't know how valuable that would be to add to my collection when I wouldn't really be able to use or really want to use all 3 of those shades. It's kind of short and sweet, but I don't have an interest in picking that up. The packaging's okay. It looks just like this gold packaging. It looks like there is a nice mirror in there, but I just don't feel like for $39 $29, I would get the full use out of all 3 of those highlighting shades. Next, we have a product from Urban Decay. This is an eyeshadow palette. This is the new Light Beam palette. It has 5 different shades in there. The packaging on this reminds me a lot of the Decay palette that came out last summer. It had like 5 metallic shades in it. I'll admit that enticed me quite a bit. I don't own anything from Decay, and I never bought that palette. This looks a lot like that palette in terms of packaging, and these shades, I don't really get them at all. The only one in here that looks remotely interesting is Golden Hour. It's this silvery shade, but I hardly wear silver shades. The first 3 shades right there, what is that? Nudie, Vibe, and Paradox. I mean, they look pretty boring. They look like things I already have in my collection, and that shade Influence just from this picture just looks like a maybe really dark bronzy brown, or maybe just a brown with some glitter in it. I don't know, but the only shade in this palette that looks remotely interesting is that Golden Hour shade, and I'm not about to buy a full eyeshadow palette for 1 shade. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm not about that. I hope it's not that expensive because it's a small palette with only 5 shades, but who knows? This doesn't look like something that I've seen from Urban Decay before. Don't mind the cat in the background, but this is definitely not worth it for me. I haven't seen these swatched. This is still a fairly new post on the Trend Mood website. I'm not into this. The moment I saw it, I was like, no pass, moving on. Let's go ahead and talk about another palette from Urban Decay. I don't think I talked about this in my last Will I Buy It / anti-haul, but this does look like the Back Talk palette a little bit in terms of packaging, not really in terms of colors. And this, of course, is the new Urban Decay palette. I think it's called the Beached Eyeshadow Palette. Is that it? Just the Beached Eyeshadow Palette. It is part of their summer 2018 collection, and I will admit, the first time I saw this, I was very into it. The first time I saw the Back Talk palette, I was like, meh, it just wasn't speaking to me. First time I saw this, I thought, ooh, that is pretty. Those shades look very summery, very warm. It has those 2 pops of color, and that's where my problem is. The moment I cover up those 2 pops of blue, this just turns into a warm palette full of bronzy, brown, warm shades that I definitely already have in my collection. I want to say a lot of those I could dupe out of my Naked Heat palette, and it's just not worth it. I think this is $39 maybe. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen, but definitely not cheap when the only 2 shades in there that really grabbed my attention originally were their 2 blue shades, which I might be able to dupe from my single shadows, especially this shade right here. This is the ColourPop shade in the shade Backseat, and this was like $4. I think, I don't remember how much the ColourPop shades are, but they are much cheaper than buying a full palette full of shades that I already have in my collection and don't need. So I will not be picking that up. Moving on to another eyeshadow palette. This is a new release from Kat Von D. This palette is for her 10-year anniversary, and it is the, what is this called? I don't see a name for this palette. Maybe it's just the 10-year anniversary palette. I will admit that the artwork really drew me in on this. I thought it was really pretty and really well done. It is a very colorful palette, and I almost was tempted to really look into this because it made me think of the Mi Vida Loca palette, which I missed out on and regret missing out on. But when I really looked at the shades in this palette, it doesn't speak to me. I'm not into it. Although it's a colorful palette, it's nowhere near the same level as the Mi Vida Loca. I think, again, I don't have that palette, but it's just not giving me those same vibes. I really loved the Mi Vida Loca look. I'm not into these shades. I don't know how much this eyeshadow palette is, but I can't imagine that it's going to be cheap because it is such a big colorful palette, and especially for the 10-year anniversary. Out of all the colorful shades in here, which there really aren't too many, there's a purple, a blue, and like a bright green, and then there's a whole bunch of other muted colors. I mean, there are some warm shades like a yellow and a rusty orangey red in there, but a lot of those I can already dupe in my collection from a lot of other palettes. It's just a few pops of color in there that I don't even think I would enjoy using, and just aren't anything special. I do like collecting some makeup that I really like the packaging on, but this doesn't speak to me that much and on that level, so I don't feel a need to pick this up. So I'm not gonna. Moving on to some products by Smashbox. Now, the first time I saw these 2 products that I'm gonna be talking about, I was really interested in it because of the packaging. I thought the packaging looked so pretty, and I am talking about the Smashbox Cosmetics and Vladma MUA UA. Ooh, I'm probably definitely saying that name wrong. But it's their collaboration, and specifically the two highlighters in this collection. They are the Petal Metal highlighters. They are $39 each, and the two shades are Rosemantic and Glided Rose. Glided Rose, I think is what that is. Glided Rose is a champagne and Rosemantic is a rose gold. Now, I've seen these swatched a few places, and judging by the way they look in the pan, I don't think these are gonna work for me at all. If you didn't notice, I have a very, very fair complexion, and these look like they are gonna look really beautiful on medium and dark skin tones. Definitely not meant for us pale girls, which is fine. I think there are more products that need to be tailored for darker skin tones. I would like to try more from Smashbox, but I don't wanna just try something for the sake of trying it. I wanna wait for something that really grabs me and I think will add value to my collection and think would work for me. And unfortunately, nothing in this collection is really doing that for me, so we are going to be passing over that today. So one of the last things we're going to be talking about today is a new Becca highlighter. This is their new Skin Perfecting Pressed Highlighter shade in Dreamsicle. Okay, one, I do love that name, and I do love the imprint that's in this highlighter. I think it's cool the way it has the swirl in there, but I'm pretty sure this also is not going to work for me at all, which again is fine. I think that this could look really good on medium to dark skin tones, but it just looks like an orange shade that would look absolutely terrible on me. I do love Becca, and I would like to try more of their highlighters. I think I just have a couple in my collection, but I'm not gonna pick this up. I think it's $38. I think that's on point with the rest of their highlighters. That wouldn't work for me at all, so why would I pick that up? I wouldn't. That's the answer to that question. So that is everything we are gonna be talking about today. Those are some of the new products out that I will not be purchasing and my reasons why. Are there any new products out that you just have no interest in purchasing yourself? Or did I talk about anything in this anti-haul that you're thinking, yeah, actually, I think that'll work for me. I think that'll add value to my collection and I am gonna be picking up? I would love to know down in the comments below. Again, these are all my opinions based on my collection, my financial situation, and my preferences, which could very well differ and probably will differ from your own. So take what I say with a grain of salt. I just kind of want to be that extra voice in the void saying, hey, you know what? Have you thought about this? Is that actually gonna work for you? Maybe, maybe not. If it is, great, pick it up. If it's something you're really into, that you really like, why not? Don't let me stand in your way, because in the end of the day, it's your choice, and that's the beauty of life. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe before you go for more content from me. And that is everything I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.